Isn't it lovely? We are ready, folks. Clifford Carnicom. I called and called and called, and all I got was a fax signal.
Fill our hearts and all. Perfect. How did you? I had a fax signal. I had a fax signal on your phone for 25 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. I did, Clifford. I started calling you at 9 o'clock straight up, and I got the fax signal.
Good. All righty. Looks like phone's acting a bit screwy.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I wanted you to know I was loyal to you.
Well, I thank you very much for that, and I also thank you for that information because I sort of try to keep track of the phone.
Okay, then let me give it to you exactly. I started at 9 o'clock our time, and I called 5 times, and every time it was fax. And then, it was fax. It was that scream, that...
Right. Yeah, see, this is important because, it affects my livelihood, too, when the phone goes screwy.
Oh!
And, and there was a couple things that happened screwy, also on my side, about the same time I was expecting you to call. So it sounds like this phone, and when we get done here, I actually have to call the phone company.
Oh, my goodness.
Tell them, because on my side, I got my wife called, and yet it said that it was the Santa Fe Public Schools that was calling.
Really?
Yeah, and they send a bunch of recorded messages. So I thought it was them, but it ended up that she was calling, and then but it was her that was calling. But then after that, I talked to her, and darned if the Santa Fe Public Schools did call, okay, and did leave a recorded message, and all this was going on while you were calling, and you were getting a fax tone.
Yeah.
We don't even really exactly have a fax. So, all right, well, I really appreciate knowing that.
Well, first of all, let me sympathize with you. That's most unsettling.
Yeah, but I'll call them when we finish and tell them it looks like the phone is going screw up because, that's my business calls, too, so I have to make sure I take care of it. So thanks for the information.
He's a computer consultant.
Sorry for the problem on your side, too.
Oh,
but at least we know that it looks like the phone was at the heart of our difficulty there.
Yeah, I'm glad I persevered.
Oh, okay. Now, do you want to go ahead then?
Yes, and
for a bit?
Yeah, I do very much. Now,
I probably can't go over an hour. Even 45 minutes is probably better now, but...
Well, do what you want, and I'll listen to anything you say. So, did you have any questions you had for me to ask you, or...?
No, other than if you do ask questions, it'll probably spur me, or...
Okay, I will, then let's start.
So, it's quite all right to ask me questions, and they can be at any level or any point you want, and then we'll just go from there. But it probably helps as a conversation, whichever on your mind also from your side to get things started.
Okay, I'm going to start right now.
Okay.
Hello there, everybody. This is the chat with Glendora, and I am greatly honored and excited and pleased to have
on your side too.
Oh,
at least we know that it looks like the phone was at the heart of our difficulty there.
Yeah, I'm glad I persevered.
Oh, okay. Now, do you want to go ahead then?
Yes, and
for a bit?
Yeah, I do very much. Now,
I probably can't go over an hour. Even 45 minutes is probably better now, but...
Well, do what you want, and I'll listen to anything you say. So, did you have any questions you had for me to ask you, or...?
No, other than if you do ask questions, it'll probably spur me, or...
Okay, I will, then let's start.
So, it's quite all right to ask me questions, and they can be at any level or any point you want, and then we'll just go from there. But it probably helps as a conversation, whichever on your mind also from your side to get things started.
Okay, I'm going to start right now.
Okay.
Hello there, everybody. This is the chat with Glendora, and I am greatly honored and excited and pleased to have Clifford Carnicom tonight. Clifford, how are you tonight?
Very well, Glendora. Thanks very much.
How are things out in Santa Fe?
Very wet. Very wet.
Oh, really? You had rain, did you?
A lot of rain, but that's good. We need it.
Now, Clifford, I want to thank you for all the work that you did on the aerosol. You want to just tell people about the documentary that you had made on that?
Sure. As a part of the work, I've been involved in this now, getting close to 11 years or so. And the work had progressed to the point of around 2005, I think is when I started on it. I decided that it would be helpful and beneficial to make a documentary of this issue. At that time, probably had, this started in very beginning of 1999 for 6 to 7 years of work. And spent about a good year, actually a good year to a year and a half of any free time, if you want to call it that, to work on this documentary. And it was simply to offer a different place that people could go to get the information rather than just the internet, because there is an issue of manipulation and containment of information on this subject, and so it's a little bit difficult to let's say distribute the information through any kind of certainly mainstream conventional channels. So the documentary is something that I worked on for quite a while, and it was a major project, and I'm very glad it was done. And that documentary is still, even though it's now getting close to 4 years, is still perfectly timely. There's nothing in that documentary particularly that I would change. Anything that I would say is an error, and if anything, the stage that was set in that documentary is showing itself to be valid and reasonable, and the problems have only compounded and added themselves to the base of that documentary. That documentary is available to the public for free distribution. In fact, there is a condition attached to the documentary that no one can sell that documentary for a profit. If anybody does help or choose to distribute the documentary, they can do so at cost. They're entitled to recovery of all expenses. But it is not to be sold. It is made of public interest and for the public benefit. And people can find access to that documentary on my website, which is actually two websites now under my name as the primary research site, www.carnicom.com, and my last name is spelled Carnicom, as in Mary, Carnicom. Carnicom.com is simply and strictly a research site about, like say, 10 to 11 years of work. And recently, over the last 6 months, I and a group of others have formed a nonprofit institute under the name Carnicom Institute to try and set the stage for further work.
Say again, Carney, what?
The institute is Carnicom Institute, and that's a nonprofit organization that has been established to extend and carry on this research, hopefully, whether I'm here or not. And the website for that is Carnicom Institute.
Spell it, please, for Clifford.
Sure. It's my last name again. Also would be CARNICOM, and that's Mary, and then the word Institute, INSTITUTE, and then that's .org.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I got it.
That is like a new platform to address problems really on a more general level. If funding becomes available to take on specific problems. So the documentary is available on numerous links on the website, and I was trying to see specifically where that is. But if there's any problem, people could send an email to the Institute on their webpage. The documentary is available. I guess that's the main point, and at no cost other than expense for those that are producing it.
Well, you did a marvelous job on it. Did you do it at your own cost, Clifford?
Yes, I did. It was a major project. There's no way around it. The computer resources I had available were actually pretty limited. I was the issues. There are people I know that would I like it to be shorter, but that's about the shortest I could make it and cover at least the main topics.
Well, let me thank you for the public for the grand job that you did and for doing it and at your own expense.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's, I suppose it's my calling to try to make this information available to the public in the widest form that I can so that the public can evaluate the seriousness of the issue, which I regard as probably one of, if not the most serious issues that as a planet we have actually faced. And we haven't actually defined that yet, for your audience. And I guess we should say that, the subject of our discussion is that which I call aerosol crimes. This is the title and phrase that I've used. And the central claim that and not just me alone, but certainly a claim that I would make, is that since the beginning of 1999, and not that date should not be viewed as a single crossover line of which before there was nothing and after is everything. But it is a significant date in terms of the scope of the operation. But the claim would be that since that date that there has been a very large-scale systematic operation to distribute and disseminate massive amounts of extremely fine particulate matter into the atmosphere, and that aircraft are used as the means of basically injecting and distributing those particles. That would be the central claim.
And I'm a witness to it practically every day.
Well, those of us that become aware of the issue know that it's hard to ignore once you become aware, but there are many people that still remain unaware of the reality of this issue. If you think of, I often think of like a hunter, if you, I'm not a hunter now, but I have been in my past. If you think of deer hunting, there's a method of deer hunting where people will get themselves up in a tree stand, 20 feet above the ground. And, the reason that method is successful is because the deer in the game, they don't look up. It's not their normal sphere of observation experience. And so that which is 20 feet above their head, which represents a threat and a danger to them, they simply have no awareness of. And, there's some analogy and similarity to the human species. If something is confronting them right in the face, they can have a tendency to be oblivious to that. And in this case, we're talking about alteration of the atmosphere. And, since we're dealing with something that, again, is above our normal observation for those people that are not particularly attuned to atmospheric changes, it is quite possible, and it has been done, that you have a major operation taking place, which really is total ignorance of the population because of let's say, a consideration of lack of importance, because it's not in my face and it's not affecting my life directly in a way that I can see. Once you become aware of it, it'd be very hard to ignore. But that is a process, transformation that takes place. It has taken place for millions of people across the planet. But there's no denying that many people are very much unaware of the seriousness of the issue. And if you'd like, Glendora, I could describe the basic physical differences of what we're looking for. There will be plenty of claims and people that would say, well, how do you know it's not just normal or normal? And we could start out with some basic definitions, distinctions about what we're talking about. And the question here is, if you have an aircraft leaving stream of material from that aircraft, the question is that normal? Should that stream of materials, should it stay in the atmosphere for a long period of time? And should it extend itself and transform itself into an occluding layer that blocks sunlight dissipate and turns into a haze and cloud at 35 to 40,000 feet. Should that be happening? Is that normal? And I would contend on the simplest level, no matter how deep we want to get into this issue, which gets very involved, eventually involves biological aspects, but even at the most elementary level, brings up a question of pollution. And that is if you are contaminating or altering the atmosphere to a point where you can no longer see the way that you could, or your visibility is hampered, it would seem reasonable that you should at least be asking some questions and addressing the issue from a perspective of pollution. You do not just alter the atmosphere to the point where these things happen of visibility and or contamination without raising questions of air quality. So what we could do is start with some basic distinctions between what are contrails and what are clouds, and then reach a point where we discuss essentially a new phenomenon, a new physical transformation that has taken place, which we will find ultimately will be a combination of these two things. And so if you're willing, I would start with a discussion of contrails, because this is what people would ask, well, isn't that just normal? And a contrail by definition is actually water vapor. If you look at where it came from a joining of the term condensed and trail. And condensation, by definition, refers to water vapor. And this is a phenomenon that is well known, comes from aircraft at high altitude. And in principle, it's no different than you. I mean, I would take an example of a person up in Minnesota or Michigan, and it's 40 below, and you're breathing, and what do you see? And what you see is that the water vapor from your body, which is heated and warm, will hit a cold, extremely cold environment. And you know that temperature of minus 40, minus 50 is actually pretty analogous to what's going on up there at altitude. And what happens? It's not that complicated in the sense that it condenses, it turns into a visible, solid form that you can see in front of your face. And then subsequently what happens? It mixes with the surrounding atmosphere. It both evaporates, depending on the amount of heat or energy coming into it, and it mixes into the surrounding atmosphere. That is a normal physical process, which we are all familiar with, and the physics of that can be defined and described if we need to, and that's a good part of the work that I did in the beginning stages, was just go through the physics and the chemistry of these call it everyday phenomenon, and come up with models that simulated those circumstances, and that can be done, and it has been done. So, but from a common sense point, we know that that's the case, that this is what happens, and there's a reason that it happens, and it's exactly as I described. Mixing and evaporation would cause that material to dissipate. Now, you do not expect, if you're up there in Michigan, as you're walking around breathing, that you're going to have a stream or a trail of solid cloud-like material staying behind you wherever you walk. It's not going to happen. All right, and that's because it is water vapor and it follows those laws. Now let's take the issue of a cloud in hand. A cloud is quite different. And by the way, the environmental conditions for that water vapor to condense are and can be very, very cold air and very, very clean air. In other words, there's no requirement at all that there be any solid material or anything in the air polluting it to make this happen. It just requires a cold temperature and a gaseous medium for this to occur. A cloud, on the other hand, is actually quite different. It's an entirely different physical process, and one of the things that happens when people take on this subject is they actually mix up these two phenomena into one and just sort of blur the lines between contrails and clouds as a starting point. And that's the first problem. And you know, that blurring of those lines we could regard in translation of the definitions and the language. Because a cloud is an entirely different creature, and it's really quite interesting. The conditions for cloud formation involve entirely different set of circumstances, and they are as follows. The first is that you need quite a bit of water vapor in the air. In that first case, you didn't need any except for what you expelled. The air could be dry as could be. In fact, those are the best circumstances. Clean, cold, dry air are the best circumstances for contrail formation. A cloud, in contrast, requires moisture to be in the air. And the number for that is roughly in the order of 70% humidity. Clouds will begin to form when humidity levels are roughly 70% or greater. So that's your first situation, and that's already entirely different. The second situation is that you need solid particles in the air for that water vapor to collect on, to coalesce around. And the term they give to those solids are cloud nuclei. And the size of these particles is actually extremely small. Now, this is not something you see with your eye. I'll give you a sense, and the audience a sense of scale here in terms of size. Human hair is on the order of 60 to 100 microns in thickness. Just a measure of scale to give you a sense. These cloud nuclei that I'm talking about, they're called condensation nuclei. The size of these particles is on the sub-micron level. It'd be in the order of 2/10, 3/10, 4/10 of a micron. This will give you an idea how small these things need to be. It's not something you're going to be seeing with your eye, but they need to be there. The cloud formation will require substantial moisture in the air, and it will also require condensation nuclei for them to occur. Now, this is telling you now that at these mid-levels of elevation, call it 5,000 to 25,000 feet where clouds form, that these conditions are occurring, and it's saying that the air there is not perfectly clean. It might look pretty good, but it's not perfectly clean, and it has water vapor, substantial water vapor in there. Now, the third condition, and this is actually one that I just heard came across fairly recently, which gives all of us the opportunity to prove this to ourselves if you want. But there's a science book out there called How to Fossilize Your Hamster, and it's an interesting book, and it has a lot of experiments that people can do for common physical things. And what this guy did was come up with a way that people can create what's called a cloud chamber. A cloud chamber involves pretty advanced physics. This guy came up with a way that we can demonstrate it to ourselves. And what he does is he has you take one of those plastic water bottles, liter water bottles, and he has you put a little bit of water in it. And then he has you take a match and light it, and then drop it in the container, and then seal it. And what he will show you and tell you is basically the mechanics and physics of cloud formation. And it ties very much in with everything that I'm saying. And he will add one more component that will make it very interesting. And now he will tell you that if you squeeze that bottle, you will have a cloud that will form. And if you let off that bottle, then the cloud will dissipate. And what he's showing is, in addition to these two things that I've talked about, water vapor as well as solid material. And by the way, the match is providing a source of smoke. And smoke, if you actually take it down to its smallest unit, is a solid. It's the particles of smoke that form the condensation nuclei, and that's your demonstration that it's not completely clean. And that last one that he's providing to you is that there's a pressure component to cloud formation, and that is, as the pressure increases, it will cause that material to coalesce. So what we're seeing here is that the conditions of cloud formation and contrail formation are entirely different from one another, and they are entirely different physical processes. And the first thing you cannot do is mix these up and because it's just simply not the same thing. Now we run into the alteration of the atmosphere that has taken place, and we must reach an understanding of how could an aircraft or a machine of any kind leaving some kind of trail, how could it leave a trail that would actually now persist? What would be required for that to happen? And if you understand what we have just described on the difference between these two different physical processes, you can reach such an understanding of what it would take. And here's what would happen. If this material emanating from that aircraft was not water vapor alone, let's say, but indeed it did have within it extremely fine particulate matter, it now provides a base